Hey gun people, gonna do one on night ops here. People have been asking about Smokey, so I decided to drag. He was sleeping over there. He was sleeping over there being old lazy cat, but people were like, I haven't seen Smokey. How's Smokey? He's doing good. He's a good example of night ops. See him coming sneaking around this pole? See how he stands out, his black with the white background? Poor Dad's being mean to him. Alright, so let's talk about some night ops here. When working at night, this is for the Revolution series. I don't know why I keep saying Revolution series. We're talking about tactics, and again, some of this is going to be pretty basic for guys who have some tactics. So, you know, in order to get into more advanced tactics, you kind of got to make sure everybody has like a basic background or foundation to build on. So I just kind of jotted down some things on night ops and things that not everybody thinks about. Now, hunters, people that hunt, a lot of hunters don't hunt at night, but they know about camouflage, concealment, concealing your identity, and some of these things at night will apply during the day. Like when binoculars or your scopes, reflection of the light off your scope will cause somebody to see you. You're looking across the way line, all of a sudden you get a flash of light like somebody did a mirror on you. Well, that's what happens when you're aiming a scope at somebody at a distance. If you're not aware of how the sun is reflected on that light or that lens, you'll get a reflection the same way as if I did a mirror and I flashed you. So any light that can be used as a mirror reflection in the daytime is a problem. At night it's the same way. If I've got a scope, if I've got a set of glasses on, if I have a watch, anything with glass, binoculars, if somebody runs a light across there and I don't cover that or get that down, and I know a light from either a vehicle turning, either a light from a searchlight, somebody lights up a flare and lights up the area to see if they can see, and I think I'm really good in camouflage so I don't move my weapon, that will cause a reflection off any glass, and it can be seen far away, and it's very easy to see at night. So night ops, you have to really be aware of your reflections just as you would in the daytime. So let me try to get on I'm in my little list here, and I probably already got it. So at night, cover, concealment, movement, light discipline, and noise discipline. And these words about light discipline and noise, what are you doing, Moki? He's laying down right here rolling over his back. Light and noise discipline is about being aware of it so you can affect it. Okay? You get new guys on new operations, they get all their gear, they got their canteen, they got all this metal shit, and you go out during the day when there's noise and there's vehicle traffic and machinery, and you don't hear them. They're walking and they seem like they're quiet. But you get out on a night op and you're moving at night and you're trying to move with stealth, and you hear every chink and every little click of a metal and every Velcro that unrips and every adjustment of the hat, and you hear clothing that rubs. I mean, you hear all kind of things at night that you don't hear during the day. So noise discipline is your knowledge of how much noise you're creating and trying to control that noise, either through better packing. I mean, before we did any ops, we would always have the guys jump. If I was inspecting my guys, we're about to go out on an op, it'd be like, oh, everybody's got the gear, everybody's got the weapon. Okay, everybody jump up and down. And I go down the line. Each person would jump up and down, and I'd want to hear what's making noise, if there's any jingling or jangling, or if the gear is loose or something's flopping, or if he jumps and his canteen flies out, or something, a flashlight flies out because it's not secured properly. All those things is kind of just a basic planning op. You want to make sure as a team that you're working together. Everybody checks everybody's gear. Everybody looks at you, and I turn around, you check my back. Make sure I don't have a snap unhook. Make sure I don't have something that's halfway hooked up or insecure. You just kind of do a visual check, and you're always checking. You know, they got the buddy system or the team system to where you're always checking on each other to ensure that there's not issues. You're not going to lose your equipment's coming done, you're making noise. And again, you're not only worried about your noise discipline, you're checking everyone else's noise. So night ops are one of those things that, I mean, that's when a lot of operations, your best operations are done, because you have the concealment of the night. You can, I mean, there's pros and cons to it. Jumping with gear, I just covered. Camo, obviously you want to camo up, but camo at night is not quite as critical. In the daytime, when we get into camouflage and cover and concealment, you want to break up straight lines. Nature is more rounded and kind of obscure. There's not a lot of straight lines, lanes, square turns, right angles. There's not a lot of that in nature. So when you're trying, unless you're in a city, if you're in an urban environment, there are, because it's man-made. So your camo would be different in an urban. You don't want to go out there looking like a tree in an urban environment because you're going to stand out. But you don't want to go out looking like a building in a tree environment because you're going to stand out. So understanding when you're camouflage, you're breaking up lines and things. At night, not quite as critical. At night, you want flashy, bright colors that will reflect. Anything that reflects light in case somebody's searching and they run a light across you, you don't want to stand out and flash. So, still important, but not quite as important. Now, if you're doing a night op that may end up leading you into the day, you might want to plan on your day camouflage and your night op. Same way if you're doing a day op and you're going night. If you remember in the movie Black Hawk Down, they were going out, the Rangers thought it was going to be a quick extraction. We're going to go on a target, secure it, we're going to extract some prisoners, and we're going to pull out. Easy op, no problem. They had a plan. Plan went to shit, and it went to shit bad, and a lot of people died. But there were guys, when they were planning, there was young guys who were taught, you always bring all your equipment. Even if you don't need it, you always bring it. So guys were like putting on their vests, and guys were giving them shit, saying, you don't need that, man, we're only going for a day off. You don't need that big heavy thing in the back unless you're running away. So the guys didn't have their metal armor on in the back, and they didn't bring their night vision goggles because they were only going to be out there a couple hours, and it was during the daytime. What do you need night vision for? Guess what? Plan went to shit, they got stuck, they got trapped, they got surrounded. Nobody had night vision. Nobody had their good protection gear, and a lot of guys died. Now, I'm not trying to crack on these guys, say they're wrong, because that just happens. I mean, you can't plan for everything, you do the best you can, but, you know, lessons learned and things like that is be aware of planning for night ops, even though you're only going out for a day and you're planning on coming back. You may get stuck, you may get separated, you may, you know, everybody gets killed and you're on your own and you're out there at night. Because sometimes in the day, if you get a bad op in tactics, you may not want to move during the day. You may want to dig in, you find a good hiding spot. I'm digging in until nighttime and then I'm moving at night. Then I got the cover of darkness. It's easier for me to move. So reflection scopes, binoculars, glasses, rings, watches, anything that reflects you don't want to have, or you want to tone it down, cover it something. Sound tends to travel farther at night. I don't know what it is, but you can hear a lot more, and I think it's just because everything's quieter. Maybe there's some scientific physics about night air, density, travels, water, I don't know. But to me, at night, you hear more because it's quieter. So we used to do, when we were training for ops, we would train on vehicles at a distance, and we would have to pick up. And again, we were all younger, so we could hear. None of us had ringing in our ears like we do when we're old now. So we could hear things, and they would line us up, and we would be on our op moving, and they would have certain types of vehicles way off in the distance driving. And we would have to learn through sound what type of vehicles they were, whether they were loaded or not loaded, whether the engine was straining, whether the engines were going fast or were they going slow. Were they turning? When a vehicle comes at you, the engine sounds different than when it goes across you. And it sounds different here if it's going away from you. So understanding that, I mean, those are things that it's common kind of sense, you kind of pick it up easy, but the reason you teach that is you want people to understand and be conscious of it, so they're thinking, they're trying to evaluate. Is this vehicle coming at me, or is it going parallel? Is there a group of vehicles and they're all going the same direction? Did one of the vehicles peel off because one engine sounds like it's coming, but there's a few going this way? Are they searching for us? Are they coming our way? Are we by a road or a path that they can get to us? What kind of vehicle is it? Is it a large vehicle? Is it under load? So hearing things at night and your verbal clues, those are important. How do you learn? Well, I mean, we had vehicles go out there and guys drive it, and we had radios. Okay, drive the deuce and a half. Okay, drive the track. Okay, drive the Jeep. Okay, drive the tanker, the water tanker with water. Drive the water tanker with no water. So you would hear all these different sounds, and at night when it's quiet, you can hear all that, and you can determine. Same thing with troop movement. You're listening for breaking branches. You're listening for someone. I can tell when somebody's running through the jungle versus if they're moving and stopping. If they're taking a step and searching. If they're talking, if they're communicating, if they're answering their radio. All those things at night can give away your position. So let's see here. Sounds travel better. Seems, let's see. Vehicles coming and going, I cover that. Lasers at night. I mean, it may look cool that you have a laser and you may think you're the only one that can see it. But when you do a laser, most people will look at 2 points on a laser. Where it starts and where it stops. And so when I see a laser and then I see a gun flash, I know where it's starting and I know what they're aiming at. So when a laser is aimed at the guy next to me and I see the laser, it's very easy to visually track back where that laser is coming from and fire on that laser. Even if I don't hit the laser, I'm hitting in the general area. So lasers can be good or bad. When you use them, they come on, you take your shot, and they go off. You don't want to minimize, you want to minimize that area or time that it's on, especially at night. At night, noise discipline is hard because you can't see where you're stepping. When you're walking, you know, you can't tell if you're about to hit a ditch, if you're going to trip, if you're standing on dead branches, if you hit a puddle of water, if you hit a bunch of rocks that are going to make noise. So at night, sometimes you have to plan on timing whether your op's going to take longer or shorter. Travel time at night usually takes a little longer because you're moving slower and you're trying to work on your noise discipline and you're pausing to listen. Because when everybody's walking, you can't hear a whole lot, so every once in a while, you want to stop the patrol or the fire team and go, let's just listen for a second. We hear something. Okay, let's move on. So, be aware of your lasers and movement. Noise discipline, again, movement's going to be slower. A lot of night ops are going to be cooler, so a lot of times when you're planning operations, you're going to want to do them at night because of it was either raining or storms coming in during the day, or it's quiet and cooler at night. It's too hot during the day. You want the cover of darkness. You want to be able to move in and move out so you're not going into contact. You want to move in, attack them, and then use the cover of darkness to get away. All these things are just considerations for nighttime. Let's see. Use the noise around you to cover your noise. And when you're moving at night, sometimes we were moving and trying to get to one location to other, and we would be kind of trapped because we thought we heard something or somebody was close, they could hear us, so we were like in our freeze mode, like, okay, now shit, let's evaluate what the hell we're going to do now. And then you can use things around you to help you move. So if a plane flies over, if a railroad track has a train coming by, if vehicle traffic comes by, if, you know, there's all kind of things, what I put on here. Storms, distractions, rain, planes, traffic, roads, equipment working, noise, air conditioning, anything that's running, light things, anything that's making noise, you want to use that at night to get your quickest movement, your farthest movement, and it's going to cover your movement noise. So it allows you to kind of sacrifice slow, quiet movement when you can move quicker because there's a jet flying over. So you wait till it gets close enough and it helps hide your sound. Gunfire at night, big issue because your flash is always brighter and bigger. So no matter what flash suppressor you have at night, when you fire a gun, it's pretty easy to see that flash. It's like turning on a flashlight really quick. It's very easy to see. So fire discipline at night, you need to know when you shoot at night, you need to move. Now, normal tactics is you don't ever want to stay in the same spot and shoot because now the enemy knows where you're at. If you have multiple adversaries, they know where to concentrate their fire on you, and you've kind of created this fatal funnel I talk about to where everybody has one point to aim at, yet you have multiple points to aim, so it really makes you ineffective. So you need to understand that when I shoot at night, I'm moving, I'm rolling, I'm crawling. I don't want them to be able to shoot at where that flash is at and hit me. Let's see. It's harder to keep up and travel at night. That's kind of a pro. I'm moving. I can't see the guy in front of me. We have to keep distance. I don't know if the Rangers still use a little Ranger eyes. You just put those little glow things on the back of our hats. So when we're traveling, you can kind of keep in touch with the guy in front of you. Sometimes they'll glow when you put a light. So we take our head off, put a flashlight on them, kind of charge them up, and then put them back on. So the guys behind us can see us and keep up when we're moving at night. So at night, you're going to sacrifice speed, and sometimes you've got to travel closer. Okay, and normally in tactics when you're moving, distance is your friend. You want to kind of keep your interval in separation. You don't want to be in a group. It's too easy for somebody to throw a grenade in the middle or to shoot at the group and they hit 2 or 3 people. So distance is your friend, and at night you kind of lose that and you have to tighten up. So again, you're giving up, pro and con, yin and yang. There's always good and bad. You just need to be aware of those and make an educated, common sense conclusion that, hey, what do I want to give up and what do I gain and which one's more important? and then that's how you plan your tactics. So there's always pros and cons. I got this here to kind of show the vehicle thing on noise. If a vehicle is going this way, the engine noise primarily is going this way. So you're going to have less noise coming this way and even less noise coming that way. So learning what the vehicle sounds like when it's moving, you hear the fan belt here. I don't necessarily hear the fan belt when I'm over here, but I'll hear the fan over here if I'm in front. If I'm over here, I may not hear a fan. If I'm in the back, I'm not going to hear that fan. So that's how movement kind of affects you at night. Again, you got to be closer. So you may be moving in a file formation at night so you can see the guy in front of you and you don't lose anybody. If you get in a diamond formation or a wedge, now I've got to either be able to see this guy, I don't know where this guy's at, this guy's got to see this guy, and he's got to see this guy, which during the day it's pretty easy to get a quick reference on where you are and you adjust your movement. As the team moves this way, I move this way. As the team moves this way, I move this way, and I keep my interval. At night, that's a little more difficult. So those are just some considerations, some ideas. If you're planning night ops, if there's just two of you, obviously if you're working alone, a lot of these things go away. You don't have to worry about one person, etc. But you give up something too. You give up the backup, the ability to have somebody distract somebody so you can get out if you get pinned down. Pros and cons, hopefully that gives you a little understanding on night tactics and things to consider when you're doing night tactics. And Smokey was just out here and he just left. Where'd you go, Smokey? Crazy cat ran off. He's out doing tactics hiding. All right, we'll end that there.